And is fentanyl a synthetic opiate?
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, that was what we're getting, like all this fentanyl coming in from Mexico or whatever. And, all of these deaths that are coming in. But if you suspect that your child may be using drugs, what's the first step you do? Let's just use that parent-child relationship.
Well, one of the things that a parent does is make it safe for your child to come and talk to you. If they feel like they're going to get their head bit off, they're not going to come talk to you. It's just not going to happen. They need to have, if it's not you, we be wise enough and take your pride out of the way for a second and find somebody that they would feel comfortable talking to. Make sure that your child has a terminal, a person they can go to, right? And even if it's not you, and a lot of times just by the animosity, I don't know if animosity is the right word, but my son, my oldest boy, if I wanted him to know something, I would sometimes, I'd float it out there and he, whether it did or not, but then I would have my friends that he thought a lot of tell him. And then he would come to me later. Oh, Jerry said this and that. I'm like, no kidding. I've been saying it for 6 months now, but and then he would.
But I like how you said that, like set your pride down as a parent. The reality is that sometimes our children tune us out. They're sick of hearing us nag about everything from the laundry to, sex, drugs, and alcohol. And so being able to set your ego aside as a parent and making sure that your child, if it's not you, has a trusted adult that they can confide in, I think is super important. And I wanted to just reiterate that.
Yeah. And then, the other thing too is like, now my dad he was a big, black construction guy and loud and just, but at the same time, I knew that I could, if I was in a bind, I could call the guy. It didn't, and he may raise Cain later, but at the time he's coming in to solve the problem. He's coming in. I knew I could always call on him. And so even regardless of the arguments and the fights that we had, I did know that about him. I was ingrained in me. Like, I knew that he was the guy, like him or not, he was going to be on my side. And that would be the thing that I even talk to addicts about now. It's like, they have the family, we do the intervention and the family comes in as a support team and they're trying to help this guy. And, and I get them to take a look. I'm saying, I know that this is unpleasant. But if you think anybody here wants to actually be doing this right now, right, it's not true. There's lots of things they'd rather be doing, but they care about you. And, I know you care about them, right? They'd say, oh yeah, I care. Okay, good. So you guys, everybody cares about each other here. And, these people are not going to let you down. I said, these people are going to, when you get into a bind, when you need the help and you're at your lowest, these are the guys that are coming to you. Right? You agree with me? They'll say, yeah. I said, because your friends, even if they want to help right, you, most of them can't. So they don't have the ability. So
right, everyone's drowning. No one's helping each other.
Exactly.
What do you think are what are the elements of a successful intervention?
The elements of there's three things that make an intervention successful. One is that the person desires to change their life, right? And a lot of times people will be so addicted and occluded that I don't have a problem. Meanwhile, mom is cooking their meals, folding their clothes, washing their clothes, paying their, taking care of everything, or dad or whomever, grandma, whomever. Well, sure, they don't have a problem, right? So sometimes that's part of an intervention is you actually say, well, yeah, you're maybe you don't have a problem now, but you're about to, because you're going to have to figure out because we're not supporting this anymore. But most people want to change their life. Most people are not happy. I mean, the biggest majority of addicts they're looking for a way out. I know I was. The second thing is the threat of a loss of loved ones. Like, in other words, because I've had to look at this, like I've gone into situations where I thought were completely impossible. I thought there's no way this is going to work, but the family wanted to do it because they felt like they had to do something. I'm like, okay. And got great results out of it.